To Talking Braves. I don't know what episode we're on because I didn't prepare it, but welcome
Episode
back.
7, Season 2.
We
Welcome
normally
back.
we normally discuss that before we start the episode, but we didn't do it this
It
time.
is episode 7.
Episode
Season 2,
7.
episode 7. So welcome back. We're glad you have decided to join us. And man, what a week.
What a week. And I want to start off by thanking everyone for making these last two episodes. Like last week has been the best week statistically for this podcast. So if you've decided to stick around, come along the last couple episodes, and you're still here, can't thank you enough for hanging out with us and supporting the podcast. We appreciate it.
Yeah, much appreciated, and welcome to the family. Hopefully you decide to stay.
And we got a lot to cover, and I wonder if what we've done the last couple episodes had to do with the numbers that we've been getting, but like the lockout ended, people became all of a sudden interested in baseball again, and things started happening really fast.
It was a domino effect. We knew it was going to happen. Like for us, you're obviously a content creator. You run a Braves page. So, content was at an all-time low for baseball. And there wasn't, I mean, as you saw, if you've been with us for a while, we didn't have episodes every week because there wasn't much to say. I mean, it was just repetitive at that point. So we kind of really didn't record because it was not much to talk about. But we are glad there's a lot to talk about. A lot of free agency, a lot of baseball has officially started. Spring training is officially underway. So we are excited about that. And a little over 2 weeks, I think, until opening day. So just getting into the swing of things and excited. So
excited to see everyone at Truist Park again.
Yeah, very excited. Packed crowds, summer. It's going to be a good time. Really,
I cannot wait for that.
Cannot wait.
So our last episode was our second most listened to podcast episode ever outside of the World Series champions episode. So, I mean, it's, we talked about the Matt Olson extension and the Colin McHugh signing and some other big moves. But I must say, we didn't expect that episode of all episodes to be the one. But now we know a lot more about, where Freddie Freeman's going. We'll get into that. That was fun. Maybe not for everyone, but
fun. I don't know if fun's the right word I would use.
Fun if you're a baseball fan. If you're a Braves fan,
yes. If you're a Braves fan, it's
sorry. I should have said as a fan of the game, it's more fun than a lockout. I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah, I'll give you that.
But everything's a lot of fun compared to lockout. So
baseball's fun.
Baseball is fun. Brett Phillips, come to the pod. That would be great. That'd be a great episode.
Yeah, that'd be a fun interview. He's a character.
He is such a character. I love Brett Phillips.
You can't not love Brett Phillips. He's a great dude.
He is a great dude, and maybe one day he'll be an Atlanta Brave. You never know.
Hey,
that'd be a great day if he ever comes to Atlanta.
That would be fun.
But it's a great day to be an Atlanta fan right now. At least a Braves fan. Falcons fan, not so much.
Maybe not so much. It's been a rough week for Atlanta sports icons in general, but I think we got a new icon at least for the Braves at least.
Mm-hmm.
So in Matt Olson, if you hadn't heard, I don't know, maybe you didn't hear, but yeah, Matt Olson, and this is something that I've been telling people. So Matt Ryan was traded to the Colts today. I know we're not a Falcons podcast, but we gotta pay our respects to Matt Ryan because it's an end of an era for Atlanta sports. The Braves, they lose Freddie Freeman, but they use that money to make their team better. And then the Falcons, knowing the Falcons, they're going to spend that money that they saved on getting rid of Matt Ryan on some new bathroom sinks. And Mercedes count on Mercedes-Benz Stadium being ready to go for literally anything but football. Well, Falcons. They make it look good for the SEC championship and everything like that. Just not Falcons games because nobody wants to show up because they stink.
Mm-hmm.
But
you
good
know
thing
that
the Braves are good.
Braves are good
have
and
some loyal fans. They're decent. I think World Series champions sounds pretty good. You know what sounds better than that though? Back-to-back World Series champions.
It's more syllables. A little tougher to say.
Yeah, but I mean, if you looked at it on a shirt, back-to-back World Series champions, that would look, that'd look pretty good.
That would look good. But we got a lot to go over. We got transactions from around the league. We have some Braves transactions. We got to talk about former Braves going elsewhere. And we also have spring training games to talk about. If we really want to get too much into that, I know a lot of people maybe not so high on spring training for good reason, because there's a lot of players that, everyone's unfamiliar with. Even me as a content creator that's related to the Atlanta Braves, I didn't even know some of these players who've been taking the field the last few days. So
it's always interesting to see the first lineup for the first few days of who's actually, now we're so close to regular season games. It's not as you see a lot more guys getting worked in, but usually early in March, you'll see some single A guy getting good amount of reps that you probably the casual fan might never have heard of. So, it's good to see some guys getting some work, and we're seeing some guys improve and some guys get some their feet wet, if I can speak. So it's good to see.
It's good to see. I mean, today, or at least earlier, before we recorded this, it's not going to be today when you're listening to this podcast, but today was the first time we lost a game since Game 5 of the World Series.
141 days.
141 days. The last one was on Halloween night. Good times.
Both there. We were both at the
we were both there. Best atmosphere I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of college football games.
Oh yeah.
It was, I mean, of course it was the World Series, but I've never been in a place. I've also been to rock concerts and all that stuff too. I don't think I've ever been in a place as loud as Truist Park was when Adam Duvall hit that grand slam.
That was it. It was bananas. It was. I texted my mom and I was like, that was the loudest I've ever heard a sporting event before that I've ever been to in person, and it was something to behold. It was an experience for sure. It's a once in a lifetime experience. If you don't get to do it, you got to do it at some point. So,
and I get it. A lot of people last year took a quick glance at ticket prices and were like, nope, not this year.
Nope.
I completely understand that. I mean, it was completely out of the blue for us.
Yeah.
It was kind of as a little gift, I guess, to go to this game, because I wasn't the one paying. I would never pay that much for a ticket. No, I mean, unless I had a ton of money to spend, but I'm a broke college kid, so
yeah, same. You love to not much going on, just no money. So
no money. Give us money. Donate to the pod. We'll give you our Venmo. Anyways, let's just get started. Let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. Freddie Freeman to the Los Angeles Dodgers on a 6-year, $162 million deal.
Yeah, after Matt Olson signed the extension, we traded for him and he signed the extension. We said last episode it was inevitable when he was going to become it just was a matter of when he was going to become a Dodger, not if he was going to become a Dodger. So it did officially happen. It hurt me because seeing the money, I guess, in my opinion, seeing the money he got was what hurt the most, because it might not even have been. I think the Braves offered 5 for 140, if I'm not mistaken.
5 for 140. I mean, I've heard some reports of 5 for 145. So either $28 or $29 million a year for 5 years.
Yeah. and I believe that's about the same annual salary that he's going to be getting in LA. Just with that extra year, I don't really understand what the extra year meant to Freddie, obviously, but that obviously meant a lot more than we, I guess, understand. So, yeah, Freddie Freeman is the Los Angeles Dodger for at least the next 6 years.
So I remember talking about this. It was like people were asking, where do I think Freddie's going to go? I thought all along until the Matt Olson trade that he was going to be back with the Atlanta Braves. But at the same time, once that trade happened, I was hoping that he would go to the Blue Jays, Yankees, Red Sox. I mean, Yankees, I get it. But better than the Dodgers. Rays, we're taking a look at them, and Padres entered the mix a little later. But, I know Charlie Freeman would love for his dad to be a Padre with Tatis. That would have been awesome. But,
you're in desperate times when you'd rather him go to the Yankees. That's desperate times.
It was literally, it's, outside of the Mets, the Dodgers are worst case scenario, really.
Yeah.
So, and Freddie Freeman knows that Atlanta, or at least Atlanta Braves fans, absolutely hate LA. We hate the Dodgers. We hate their organization. We hate their fans. There's a lot of beef going on there. So, I've already had quite a bit of Dodger fans just talk a bunch of trash. Just, that shouldn't come as a surprise, but
no, that's exactly what I expected. I mean, that's kind of exactly what I expected. And, part of me just wanted him to sign elsewhere just so I could shove it in Dodgers fans' face, whether he didn't come here, whether he didn't come back or not, but I just didn't want him to go to LA just so they didn't have to, But we got their closer, I guess. I mean, that's something.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But, there's a lot to celebrate with Freddie Freeman, of course. What he's meant to this team for the last 11 years, what he's done with the franchise. He was been there since 2010. He had his first major league home run off of Roy Halladay in 2010, a Hall of Fame pitcher. Had his first hit down in Miami at the ballpark with 7 different names. I have no idea what it was called at the time because it changed every year, but he was just from that to the walk-off home run in 2012 to clinch the playoff spot with Chipper Jones on third base celebrating. That picture is iconic, of Chipper Jones with his fist in the air. And then, of course, the way he went out, catching the final out at first base on a throw from Dansby Swanson to clinch a World Series title.
It was written in the stars for that to happen. Like Freddie Freeman catching the final out. That was it had to happen.
However, so there's a lot, to celebrate there. However, let me just say that there's a lot to be very mad about. There's a lot of really ticked off people out there. I'm kind of one of them. I've gotten over a little bit over the last few days, but I'm still a little mad because Freddie Freeman turned down the largest contract offer in franchise history for the Braves. $28 million a year. That's unheard of for the Braves, or even, could be 29. We don't know. He said he wanted to stay in Atlanta. That's where his heart was. That's where he wanted to stay. He said he wanted to be a Brave for life. Yet he turns down the largest contract offer in franchise history and then goes to the Dodgers, who are our biggest rival outside of our division. I really feel like I think when are the Dodgers coming to town?
June 24th through 26th.
June 24th, first at bat. Actually, first at bat, he's probably going to get quite a few cheers, but after that, he's going to get booed like crazy.
Yeah, he's gonna. It's gonna be.
There's going to be a lot of fans booing the very first at bat. Yeah. I'm still kind of 50-50 on it. Yeah. Because and I don't want to hear he's going home. He wanted to go home. first of all, he grew up an Angels fan, and everybody knows that. He also had a choice to go to the Blue Jays as well. I don't know if they offered him a contract, but he has Canadian roots. That's where both of his parents were from. He played for Team Canada in the World Baseball Classic. He could have gone there. That could have been home for him. And, you know, he grew up an Angels fan, as I said, but he went to the other LA, you know, who the Braves historically the last few years have absolutely hated. We have you know, it's a bad situation there. But obviously, I'm happy though. Like, this is part that makes me happy is that with the money that we saved for Freddie Freeman, we gave to Matt Olson, and we've also made a few more signings. We've made this team better, and we'll get to everything in a little bit. But, you know, Freddie Freeman was the face of the franchise. Okay.
I kind of want to get your opinion on this. I know it's been going around. I kind of already know your answer now, but your opinions on retiring the number 5. Because I know that this has been swirling around for days now, and I'm on the side of no, because you gotta, I feel like, be at least, I understand he's been here since, he's been with the organization since 2007, been up for what, 12, I don't, however many
11 years
11 years,
2010 and 2021.
At this, I mean, you can't retire the number. It just doesn't make sense to me. If he had stayed another 5 years, 100% you retire the number, but it just doesn't make sense to retire the number. And I want to get your opinion on that. What do you think?
Well, because, I mean, he had over 1,700 hits, he's closing in on 300 career home runs. He brought us through a rebuild to a World Series title, which no other player really in Braves history has ever done, at least in the Atlanta period. Because that 1995 team, you know, we kind of built around a lot of guys like Chipper Jones, who was brought up, but that was his rookie year. Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, Greg Maddux was acquired from the Cubs, or I think it was a free agent signing. But either way, I
wasn't alive back then, so I don't remember.
But either way, you know, he came up with the Braves organization at a time where, you know, in the Frank Wren era, there was just, you know, a lot of uncertainty with the team. You know, we that was you know, the period where, you know, after the 14 consecutive division titles, we were basically a 500 team for a bit, a couple seasons under 500. 2010 team that was very inconsistent. 2011 team that absolutely collapsed in September. And then 2012 wildcard game. We don't want to talk about that. Sam Holbrook. And then 2013, I mean, Dodger fans are still talking about that. The Juan Uribe.
Talking about stuff. 2013? Jeez, guys.
I've heard that too.
9 years ago.
And then 2014, completely tore it down. Freddie Freeman was there throughout that. So, and then he brought us a division title in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. You know, he's done more good than bad.
Yeah.
A lot more good than bad.
I feel like, my opinion, I feel like he needs to retire. My heart deep down wants him to come back after he's in LA and retire a Brave, because that's how it should end. That's how his career should end. I feel like it's kind of similar along the lines of the Albert Pujols situation when he went to the Angels after being in St. Louis for so long. And that's when I first saw this. I was like, that's exactly what it reminded me of. And, you know, this is probably Albert Pujols' final year. He's a free agent right now, and I expect him to go back to St. Louis. I expect him to sign with St. Louis and finish his career out there. I expect that to be the same with Freddie, but deep down, it's gonna sting for the next 6 years, and because we, as you said, we hate the Dodgers. I'm never gonna get over the fact that he's a Los Angeles Dodger. I'm never gonna see Freddie Freeman in a Dodger uniform and cheer for him. That's just a fact.
Yeah, I cheer on the name of the team, not the player.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, and because if a player that I like is on a likable team like Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, if you hate the Angels, you're not human. Like, I will pull for the Angels. I want them to make the playoffs. I want them to win a World Series title with Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani around those two guys. That's fun to watch. That's good baseball.
Oh, yeah.
However, what the Dodgers are doing, they're spending way more money than everyone else. They're they're one of the best teams that we've ever seen. Pitching, bullpen, lineup, even their bench is loaded. Their AAA team is probably going to win 120 games. It's ridiculous. I don't even know how many AAA games there are. There might be like 120, 140, but still 120. I mean, Dodgers, they spend so much money. And, I'm also going to call out some Braves fans here. Everyone who's blaming this whole thing on Freddie's wife, Chelsea, they can just shut up. That's just, this, you don't just your wife, a player's family does not decide where he goes. It's his decision. It's up to him and his agents. It's not
and that I could
that
put
part
it on Freddie, and
that part bugged me
a little bit on Freddie, but I don't know what his agent or agent was telling him, but he just needed to be fired because if he wasn't going to go to back to the Braves, he should have easily gotten 180, in my opinion, 180 mil. The fact that he only got 162 for 6 years, or he could have just gone back to the Braves for 140 for 5 or 145, whatever it was going to be. His agent just needs to be fired because they tried to play the long game, and they got the rug swept out from under them because it didn't work.
That reminds me also, there was, I think I screenshotted it. Okay. So Chipper Jones also warned him a lot. This was an article. Yes. I don't know exactly where this article is from, but I have a few paragraphs screenshotted here. So on Friday, March 11th, there was a report that the Dodgers were making an intense push to sign Freddie Freeman. The next day, Alex Anthopoulos spoke, and according to 4 sources, so there's some other person involved named Close. I don't know who Close is, but Close told Anthopoulos that the Braves had an hour to accept. I think Close is one of the main people. I think Excel Sports Management is Freddie's agent. I think Close must be someone a part of. I don't know part of them. Of it. So I assume Close is part of Excel Sports Management. Close told Alex Anthopoulos that the Braves had 1 hour to accept one of 2 proposals: a 6-year, $175 million deal, an average of a little more than $29 million per year, or a 5-year, $165 million deal, an average of $33 million per season. Anthopoulos rejected both of their proposals. The 2 sides agreed on only this: all offers and proposals were off the table. Both sides needed to prepare for an Atlanta squad without Freddie Freeman. So also think about this. That 6th year, Freddie is currently 33 years old?
I think he turns 33 this year. I don't know exactly when.
I think it's in September. He'll be 39. We don't want a 39-year-old making $33 million a year. I mean, I get it's Freddie Freeman, but this would have completely messed up the Braves for years to come, because we know Liberty Media, DFA Liberty Media. There's you can't, it's just that's too much. That's a ton of money for the Braves to spend. And
from a baseball perspective, from a baseball standpoint, it's not a smart move. From a business perspective, that's a horrible move.
And for the Braves,
Alex Anthopoulos did the right thing.
And for the Braves organization, that would mean that, we would be, pushing aside so much money for Freddie Freeman. We wouldn't be able to address a lot of the other team's needs, or the team's other needs, rather. If we needed, if we if let's say Max Fried, I hope this doesn't happen, but if Max Fried needed a Tommy John surgery and we didn't have an ace, we would need to go out and get an ace. And with this contract, it would make it a lot tougher to go out and get a guy, who's going to be an ace and like, let's say 4 or 5 years down the road. I don't know, but this would have made it very, very tough for the Braves. And I'm glad Alex Anthopoulos said no to that. But, I also don't know how reliable this source is. I don't know who the source is, but there's also another part of this that talks about Chipper Jones, and he warned Freddie Freeman about free agency and everything. Chipper Jones is a special assistant with the Atlanta Braves, the team for which he played 19 seasons for, and he is often at Truist Park. Last August, as Freddie Freeman was closing in on free agency for the first time in his career, Jones recalled pulling Freddie aside. He said, "I told him, if you go to free agency and you get courted by all the big market teams, you were just not going to be coming back."
Yeah.
But more than that, Jones said he implored Freddie Freeman not to try to play the Braves. From his experience working with the front office, he warned Freddie that they would call his bluff. "I told Freddie, you're playing a dangerous, dangerous game. They will move on without you because Alex Anthopoulos has a job to do. If he doesn't do that job, he puts his job in jeopardy." So Chipper Jones saw this coming.
He predicted it, and spot on, because we've seen, I mean, there's a reason Chipper Jones was here for so long, because he took those, maybe you want to call them pay cuts or whatever. He took less money to come back and play in Atlanta because that's where he wanted to be. And I know Freddie said he wanted to be here. I believe that to an extent, but I believe he also got very money hungry, and like you said, they called his bluff, and they had to move on because they got to do business one way or another. So,
and in order for Alex Anthopoulos to accept one of those two proposals would have completely messed up the Braves' plans for the next 5-6 years. And the fact that Freddie's agent told Anthopoulos he had 1 hour to accept one of those proposals. I really want to know, like, if I could ask Freddie Freeman one question and one question only, I would ask him if, which side was it, you or was it Excel Sports Management that decided that Alex Anthopoulos had 1 hour?
It's kind of like the
no negotiating
like
either.
It's kind of like Rob Manfred making fake deadlines. You don't need to do that. There's like, what?
DFA Manfred.
At that point, it's not like he particularly signed it. I mean, it was a good 4 days after the Matt Olson trade that he signed with the Dodgers. So it wasn't like it, he went right away and signed with another team. So
I didn't even answer your question. Should the Braves retire his number? I think they should, but I think that, if once Freddie Freeman, like on the track he's on right now, when he gets that call from Cooperstown, I'm not saying he's 1% going to Cooperstown one day, but on the track he's on, if he continues, his success, he's going to be in Cooperstown one day, no doubt. On his plaque in Cooperstown, it's going to be Freddie Freeman in an Atlanta Braves hat. There's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I think that if you have a player that spent over a decade with you and won your World Series, brought you through an entire rebuild, I get it. I freaking hate the Dodgers, and I'm really, really mad that Freddie Freeman decided to go there instead of a more likable team. Freddie Freeman should know firsthand. He was the one who literally tried to beat the Dodgers year after year after year and failed year after year after year before finally doing it this year and winning World Series. I get it. I get going with the Dodgers. You want to win rings? Yeah, but it's still kind of betrayal, to an extent. I think that's a, that wouldn't be a bad term to use right now. but that's honestly, we saw Alex Anthopoulos show a lot of emotion in his press conference after he, brought in Matt Olson. He got emotional, very emotional. You could tell how much this hurt him to do is to, move on from Freddie Freeman. But he, as Chipper Jones told Freddie Freeman, he has a job to do. And I think that what he's done over the last few days, he lost a franchise player in Freddie Freeman, but yet he used the money that he saved on that deal to go out and get a lot of key guys that are going to play a huge role for the Atlanta Braves for years to come, especially next year. And, let's just get into that. Can we? Yeah. Let's move. Let's move. I think we've said it. I mean, unless you have a little bit more to add.
No, but I think we covered pretty much everything on that. Which one do you want to start with? The former Dodger now.
Former Dodger,
Kenley Jansen.
So a little bit of a different intro earlier. That's going to be Kenley Jansen's entrance song, "Welcome to Atlanta." So I had to put it in there. When he was with the Dodgers, he had California Love. Now he has "Welcome to Atlanta." He grew up in Curacao, so there's a connection to Ozzy Albies there. Yep. And Andrelton Simmons and Andrew Jones. There's a lot of, and Jair Jurgens as well. Can't go without saying Jair Jurgens.
Hey, Curacao is out here pushing out big time talent. Shout out to Curacao.
Especially to Atlanta. Like Atlanta is like the place where all these guys come to flourish, and it's awesome to see. He said, or Kenley Jansen has said in the past, that he grew up an Atlanta Braves fan. He was able to watch Braves games on TBS growing up in Curacao. So he grew up a Braves fan and has always wanted to join our organization. So welcome, Kenley. 1 year, $16 million.
I mean, you want to talk about that bullpen? I mean, we already talked about Colin McHugh last episode. And then our boy Tyler Matzek's obviously still in the pen with
our boy Will
Smith, AJ Minter, and Kenley Jansen will be the closer. We established that Will Smith was approached by Alex Anthopoulos before he made the deal, and basically Will said, whatever you got to do to bring back a championship, he was all in. So love Will for that. And, like Kenley Jansen will be our closer. People are calling him washed. If 2.22 ERA is washed plus 38 saves, I'll take that all day for washed. I mean, that's pretty dang good for a washed player. So,
and it's mainly Dodger fans saying he's washed too. Like, some Braves fans here and there, but we saw Will Smith last year in the regular season. It was hard. It was a heart attack every night.
Have fun with anxiety attacks in the ninth. We already had to deal with that all year in the past 10 years. We're used to that.
We had Jim Johnson as a closer. I mean, Luke Jackson as a closer was horrible. I mean, he's great now.
That was a fun experiment.
He's great as a reliever now, but as a closer, that just did not work out. Jim Johnson was atrocious. Vizcaíno was as inconsistent as ever. Grilly, I mean, in his short time here, he was good. Until he had that.
What
was it?
I think Achilles.
I think it was Achilles.
Yeah, I think it's very similar. I don't know if it was very similar to Soroka. I don't know if it was Achilles though. I don't know.
The first Soroka injury.
Yeah.
So, for me right now, I think that this deal is great, but I also think we overpaid for him. But slightly, at the same time, it's just like, now I can say without a doubt, I think the Braves have the best bullpen in baseball. No doubt in my mind.
It's 1A and 1B between us and the White Sox. There's just no doubt.
And, but I think if you're comparing the Braves and White Sox, you're looking at the pieces that the White Sox have, and look at the pieces the Braves have. The Braves, have like 5, 6, 7 guys, White Sox maybe like 3 or 4, maybe 5. The Braves have the upper hand there by far.
And the thing I especially like about it is the splits, because you got Matzek, Minter, Smith, lefties, and then Jackson, Jansen, McHugh, and I'm forgetting somebody. Anyways, you get the point. but it's very evenly split. And I mean, you got a lot of chance to play great matchups in certain situations. So it gives Brian Snitker a lot of, whatever he chooses to go with. I don't think any of them can really be a bad option. So
no, I mean, but also like mad respect to Will Smith for saying whatever it takes to win a championship again. I'm in like that. Like it's also like if we're throwing out $16 million a year for a reliever, he better be our dadgum closer. So, I know Will Smith is already signed to a 3-year deal, so he'll be here next year unless we decide to trade him. I hope that doesn't happen because he's a good pitcher. We saw it in the postseason last year. He was phenomenal. Regular season wise, not so much, but even though his stats still somehow don't even show just how bad he was really in the regular season. But
we'll give him a pass because of the playoffs.
But the playoffs, I mean, completely made up for it. So
yeah, I think us Braves fans, we don't care about. I think we'll kind of erase what happened in the regular season this year because of how good he was in the postseason, and we won the World Series. So winning a World Series always makes up for everything. It always does. You can get away with a lot of stuff if you're winning the World Series. So
it also takes the pain away from the whole Freddie Freeman thing because people, I think Foolish Baseball said it like mission accomplished. We won a World Series.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Freddie Freeman went to the defending champs. He left the defending champs. So all I'm saying, Freddie, all I'm saying.
But of course, going to LA, leaves a little bit of a stain on his legacy in Atlanta, but that's okay. It's still overall very, very respectable. So, but Kenny Jansen, great signing, love it. But we also added Eddie Rosario, or re-added Eddie Rosario.
Re-signed Eddie Rosario. NLCS MVP Eddie Rosario. What a steal this was too. 2 years, 18 mil to be, another left-handed bat in that lineup. Probably just
which we needed. We needed that.
We need badly. I mean, we've talked about we still kind of want Conforto, but this definitely boosted our left-handed spot and our outfield. So obviously we'll get into the other signings outfield wise we had later, but Eddie back and a big get, and the best out of the three, in my personal opinion, that of the guys we got at the deadline in the outfield.
4.
So really excited about Eddie coming back, and yeah,
we got 4 guys at the deadline, but by the way,
yeah, you know what I meant though.
Of the 4 guys, we already we have Duvall. Jock Peterson signed a 1-year deal with the San Francisco Giants, so he's going home. So he's going back to.
He can't really be mad about that. We knew he wasn't going to come back.
Because it's he went home, but it wasn't LA, so we're good. We're okay with that.
Yeah, he went back to his actual home, and
his actual home,
like home where he grew up. So
yes,
we appreciate Jock. Jock brought all the swagger to Atlanta, and
he brought the pearls.
He brought
such a great mojo.
He brought the magic to Atlanta, and he'll be missed. But Jock's like a guy that I've always hated Jock until he came to the Braves. Always hated him because he's one of those guys that you kind of hate until he's on your team because he's cocky and he's annoying, and then you get him on your team, you're like, this guy's awesome because he's on your team and not anybody else's. So
yeah, but the Braves really needed that left-handed bat in the lineup outside of Matt Olson right now, before we got Eddie Rosario back. It was just Matt Olson, and I guess Ozzie Albies as a switch hitter against righties, but everyone knows Ozzie Albies is so much better batting right-handed. So it's just against left-handed starters, we're set. But against right-handed guys, it was just
still want to get Conforto. Sign Conforto.
We want Conforto. Also, you may be asking, like, where would Conforto fit in? Right now it looks like Ozuna DH, Rosario left, Heredia in center, Heredia / Duvall, and then Dickerson / Duvall in right. I would say, and platoon Alex Dickerson, and Guillermo Heredia. By the way, we got Alex Dickerson too, 1 year, $1 million. Little bench bat with some pop, strikes out a lot, but hits the ball far. So
hit ball far.
It's good. That's a good strategy if you're a baseball player.
Speaking of hitting the ball far, I guess we'll have to just straight up talk about the other outfielder that is no longer an Atlanta Brave, Jorge Soler.
Yes,
World Series MVP.
So I was going to say, like, where Conforto would fit in, but we'll talk about Soler in a second. But honestly, I think we both can agree, like, until Acuna is ready to come back, we'll platoon Dickerson and Heredia. I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah,
but Ozuna right now, everyone knows about that. I mean, we don't want to get into the details, but we just, like, he did some bad stuff last year, and he apologized to the fans first day of spring training, and we appreciate that to an extent, but also, like, at the same time, what he did was wrong. It's also, I feel like, going to be somewhat of a distraction to the organization, just knowing that you're, like, if you're on the Atlanta Braves team right now, that you're taking a field with a guy who, did what he did.
Yeah,
that I think kind of, it's not a great look. I would think that, there's some team out there that really is in desperate need of a right-handed hitter. And I think we could probably trade Ozuna and maybe get a few prospects back. I would honestly love to get some prospects back, because right now we only have one top 100
especially
prospect.
with because obviously with the Matt Olson trade, lost a lot of big time prospects, and who would be willing to take on that contract, I don't know, but just to get something solid would be nice, because I mean, our farm system, especially when Drew Waters and Michael Harris both, I guess, graduate from being prospects, we're going to be dead in the water with our farm system. Mm-hmm. It's going to be awful.
Yeah. I think I said in the last episode, 2030, the Braves are going to be bad. I mean, unless we really turn things around in our farm system, but our farm system right now it's bad. I mean, I'm not saying
2030 is going to be 2013 all over again.
And I don't want to, be that guy. If you're a Braves minor league player, I'm not saying you're bad. I'm just saying, like, a lot of your teammates may not be as good as, what we've been used to the last few years. We had Acuna, Albies, Austin Riley come up. A lot of big time players: Mike Soroka, Max Fried, Sean Newcomb. He was a big prospect once upon a time. Remember that?
Good old days.
So we've developed a lot of great pitchers and hitters, but right now our farm system is just looking a lot, just bottom 10, maybe bottom 5 in all baseball. Weakest farm system. I think.
Yeah, it's bad. It's pretty bad.
The new top 30 prospects list just came out today, I think. So if you want to check it out, go do it. We're not going to do it this episode, but let's talk about Jorge Soler.
Jorge Soler going to the Miami Marlins.
I don't remember if I said it on air on an episode, or if I sent it on a text, or who I said this to, but I called this.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense. It really did. This much, I mean, we're gonna have to face him now, but it made sense.
I really want to know if I said this on the last episode, because I said it somewhere.
I know you said it somewhere. I don't remember where though.
I was like, Jorge Soler would be such a great fit for the freaking Marlins. Like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, I just think he's a great fit. I think he fits in well with the culture down there, and he's, he's from Cuba. The Marlins and Cuban. They're Cuban players. Like Jose Fernandez was.
Rip.
Rest in peace. I mean, the Marlins just have that culture down there where they have a lot of these Hispanic Latino players, and they really just put together a very fun team. A lot of people really overlook a lot of the talent down there, especially on the pitching side. Pablo Lopez and Sandy Alcantara.
Oh, they have a really good pitching staff down there. Probably one of the more underrated pitching staff. Sandy Alcantara is probably one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball.
I think he is the most. I mean, Pablo Lopez is close behind him too.
Yeah, I mean, they're two guys that are just so good. I mean, that nobody talks about. And even Sandy Alcantara, he signed a extension, and that was a steal. He got like what 6 years?
I don't remember.
$6 million
really?
Or something. It was something along those lines. Huge steal. And I mean that rotation down there is really good, and it'll be interesting to see where they finish and what they do. So especially at this point in their, I guess, rebuild. So it'll be interesting to see.
Of course, their offense needs a little work. I think Jorge Soler was a great fit there. I know they're taking a look at Nick Castellanos, who went to the Phillies. I'll talk about that in just a second. But I really think that Soler is such a great fit for the Miami Marlins. Out of all of our rivals, I think they're the most likable. They're still not very likable, but they're at least somewhat likable.
Yeah,
I guess
they're somewhat. Jose Reyes is not likable, but the Marlins,
he's not there anymore.
Yeah, he's not there anymore. But the Marlins themselves, I don't have a problem with the Marlins.
No. I'd be happy if they made it as a wild card team. I think that they'd be an underdog story if they made the playoffs. They made it in 2020.
They're a fun team to watch. I love Miguel Rojas.
Miggy Rojas, awesome. I mean, he's finally got, they got Aguilar down there, and Brian Anderson should be back and healthy next year. And now they got a power bat in Jorge Soler. So still needs a little bit of work on the offensive side, but overall, I think they're looking really good next year.
Oh yeah.
It's just on the pitching side. They're not a playoff team though, but they're getting there.
They are getting there. You mentioned offense and Nick Castellanos and the Phillies making some offensive moves. That their defense is going to be atrocious still, but it'll make us laugh.
It's gonna be entertainment.
But Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos both added to that Phillies lineup.
One of them is going to be DH.
One of them is going to be DH. You cannot put two of those guys in the outfield together. That's just.
Unless you want to put Nick Castellanos back at the hot corner at third base, even there he's not great. But you have Bowman, who has a lot of potential, and you don't really want to, have Bohm wasting his talent or, his development in AAA.
Bohm still hasn't touched home yet.
He did in September, but Mickey Mouse run.
Gotta love it. Gotta love
it. So Nick Castellanos, I think we referred to him, I think when the lockout ended, saying that honestly, the Braves could use a guy like Nick Castellanos, another guy with pop in the lineup, and he's a pretty consistent guy to have in there every day. Defensively, terrible, but as we said, but Nick Castellanos he's a fun player to watch, also a fun guy to keep up with because of the memes, but I had to bring that up. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
I think Tom Brenneman should call the World Series now with Joe Buck on ESPN. So honestly, make it happen. Why not? I mean, people. He made a mistake, but we live in such an unforgiving world. But no, I get into that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, what's the next one we're going to be talking about? I'll let you decide.
We'll stick with third base, even though we weren't even talking about third base. But we're going to move over to third base.
I mentioned it with Castellanos a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you did. But we're going to stay with an actual good defensive third baseman, probably the best defensive third baseman, if not Nolan Arenado, but Matt Chapman. traded to the Toronto Blue Jays.
A's are a complete dumpster fire, by the way.
Yeah, the A's are bad.
They completely disregarded the whole new CBA things with the anti-tanking.
Yeah, the Reds and the A's just said, let's just trade our entire team. Get rid of
I don't
our
know if we talked about
team.
Sonny Gray to the Twins. I think we did last episode.
We did last episode,
Never mind.
yeah.
I remember.
But hey, Matt Chapman, he's been injured a little bit here and there, but when this guy's on the field, he's a 30-plus bomb guy and a platinum gold glover. Or platinum glove award winner. So
whatever it's called.
You know what I meant. But huge get for the Blue Jays. Obviously, they were in on Freddie Freeman. They didn't get Freddie Freeman, but Chapman and Vladdy at both the corners is pretty dang good. That's
one of the best corner infielders you can possibly have.
Oh yeah.
I think Olsen and Riley are up there as well. And now Turner and Freeman, painful, but they're really good too. Alec Bowman, Reese Hoskins are like JK. They're not very good. Anyways, so A's in return got 4 prospects. None of them are really like huge, but
Gunnar Hoagland, the big name, big prospect in that deal.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Ole Miss. That's the only reason I really knew how much who he was, but solid guy. But I mean, really, I feel like that
not a very top prospect.
Yeah, not a huge name, prospect. Not a huge name right now, but
could be.
The A's I feel like they're just cleaning house. They don't even care at this point. They're just like, here, take this, give us a bag of chips. I mean, it's dreadful down there, up there in Oakland. So,
and I screenshotted something yesterday. So this just kind of sums up a lot of the problems that we're having in Major League Baseball. The whole tanking stuff. The highest paid player on the Pirates right now is Felipe Vasquez. Not going to get into that at all. The highest paid position player on the Reds has been retired for decades. I don't even remember who that is, but once they traded Manaea and Montas, because the A's are going to do that, A's total team payroll will be 11% of the Mets payroll. 11%. But yet last year, the Oakland A's won more games than the Mets did. But yet they're the ones cleaning house.
What a world we live in.
Ownership like that is just, it's a serious issue in baseball. And, we got to wait at least like 5 years to, really change it. Because, we tried it a little bit this year, but, if we wanted 162 games, we had to get it done at that moment, which we did. So,
yeah.
So A's fans, I feel for you. That sucks.
We feel for you.
And Reds fans. 2 great baseball cities.
Oh, yeah.
The storied franchises.
And, the topic of, I guess, bad ownership and really just bad GMs. What are the Rockies doing?
What are the Rockies doing? Can we talk about the Rockies? I mean, actually, no, I don't even know how to talk about the Rockies because no one on this planet knows what they're doing right now.
I don't think anybody has, I don't even think they know what they're doing. I genuinely don't even think. I think we could run the Rockies better than the Rockies.
They made a move a couple of years ago, moving Nolan Arenado and $50 million to the Cardinals for basically a bag of chips and some Cracker Jacks. But, so that was questionable move number one. I mean, in recent memory, they've made countless stupid things in the past, that just don't make any sense. But Chris Bryant to the Rockies.
And this was this was no hey, we're gonna sign you and then trade you. And this is you're locked in. 7 years, 182, no trade clause. I mean, you're here for the long haul now, Chris. So
Chris Bryant's going to finish with 500 bombs in his career now. If he stays on the field, maybe. Probably not, but
I mean,
300 maybe.
And then I guess we'll stay on that topic. The Rockies also go out and extend Ryan McMahon today for 6 years, $70 million. I think with incentives, if he finishes like top 5 in the MVP voting or something crazy like that, which he's never going to do. He's Ryan McMahon. Never going to do. But you're telling me you're going to spend $250 million on 2 guys after you traded Nolan Arenado for a bag of chips and sent the Cardinals $50 million and then let Trevor Story walk. Which I'm sure Trevor Story probably didn't even want to come back to the Rockies, but I mean, at that point, it's like, what are you doing? It just doesn't make much sense.
The only thing I can even think about is like maybe they're just trying to, sell some more tickets, because, Chris Bryant and at Coors Field, that's, I guess, fun, but like there's still not much there. They have no pitching. They never have had pitching since Ubaldo Jimenez. I mean, which, Ubaldo Jimenez is probably the best pitcher in franchise history, which is kind of saying something considering, he had maybe like a good 2 or 3 year stretch. But, it's their offense, especially without Trevor Story. Charlie Blackmon, he's went to high school around the Atlanta area, but so, say what you will about that. He's just not very good anymore. And, they have CJ Cron at first base who hits bombs and, Chris Bryant who can play everywhere, McMahon for the next 6 years. It just doesn't make much sense. It's just like, if you're gonna pay the Cardinals $50 million to take your best player, there's a problem.
There's a serious issue. And then let Trevor Story just walk straight to the Red Sox for a deal.
Yeah, that you could have traded him.
It wasn't even that crazy of a deal. The Red Sox really got him for cheap. I mean, cheap in my opinion. I thought that he could have gotten way more. And the Rockies just nobody knows what's going on in Denver, Colorado right now. I don't even think their fans know what's going on.
It makes zero sense.
If you're listening to this and you're a Rockies fan, which I don't know, I mean, maybe you just want to listen to the
maybe you just wandered on over.
Maybe you want to know
how we feel about Freddie Freeman.
I'm truly sorry for your just you, I guess, and then what your organization is doing. So,
I mean, it really makes zero sense. I wish I could make some sense out of it, but it's just impossible. The Rockies are the most confusing team, ever. Probably ever in all sports. It's not just baseball.
Yeah,
like what they've been doing.
But Trevor Story, he got his. He got his
bag. Rocky should have traded him for at least something, but they didn't.
They just kind of just sat there and did nothing. But Trevor Story, Red Sox, 6 years, 140, and he's going to play second base. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, like what are they going to do with Xander Bogaerts? Because because Xander Bogaerts is not good defensively. He's terrible.
Yeah, I was actually kind of shocked. I thought they might move Xander Bogaerts to second base and
or like Trevor DH. I don't know.
Or at DH, but I mean Trevor Story is the better defensive shortstop by
100%.
By a mile. It's not even close.
Yeah.
So
you can't even compare.
I think eventually it'll play itself out where Trevor Story does become the winding up being the starting shortstop. He actually plays shortstop. Not that Xander Bogaerts doesn't. He just doesn't play good. So,
I think this. I love. Even though he's been with the Rockies forever, I think the Red Sox are a good fit for him. I think, outside of him playing second base, I think that this is good for both sides. He's finally out of Colorado where, he's pretty much stuck there, even though, padding his stats quite a bit, but still playing great defense, stealing bags. He's been all around great great player. Strikes out more than you'd like, but outside of that, he does everything else.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him feast on the green monster, though. That'll be fun to watch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
and that lineup's
Red Sox,
very, very
they get
good,
better.
too.
A team that went to Game 6 of the ALCS rather. So they get better offensively if they weren't already. And
their offense is loaded. They still have
Dahlbeck,
and
there are a lot of teams this offseason that the Braves, the Phillies, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, teams that are just loaded offensively this year. That got so much better in the offseason. I mean, obviously the Phillies, they're awful defensively, but they got I'll give them that. They got a good offense, but their bullpen probably won't help them either. And they'll probably drop like 1,700 fly balls. So
probably. But yeah, I mean, I think Red Sox still lacking some outfielders. I mean, losing Schwarber, who's mainly DH anyways, but also Hunter Renfroe. They got Jackie Bradley Jr. back, but defensively he's good, but offensively not getting much there. But
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see
Kike
if they do go out and make. I mean,
Kike
they got
Hernandez
Verdugo,
though, too.
They got Verdugo and Kike Hernandez, but I mean,
And
I'm
Verdugo.
interested to see
But
if they do go out.
Bradley's a hole in that lineup.
Yeah.
And DH,
So,
I don't know. But
JD.
Oh yeah, that's right. I kind of forgot about JD Martinez. My bad. So speaking of, the Red Sox, we got a guy who was with the Red Sox for a while. Hit for the cycle against us a few years back. We got Brock Holt. Nice utility guy. On a minor
It'll be
deal.
interesting. It could be kind of like an A-Ray Andrianza type guy where he just hits his way onto the team. I mean, that's how some of these bench guys just become about every year. I mean, it's just some of these guys perform in spring and hey, you're on the team. And, would not be surprised. He's a, seasoned veteran, very, like you said, super utility guy, and he can play anywhere. Very consistent for the most part.
He can pitch too.
Yeah, he can pitch.
He's pitched in the past.
When we're up 20-0 or we're down 20-0, he can pitch. So, So Brock Holt, welcome to the Braves. Hopefully he can stick around for a while.
It's a fan favorite up there in Boston. I got a comment from a diehard Red Sox fan who I think currently works for the Braves down in Northport. And I don't remember the name, or I think it was a she, but she was really happy that she absolutely loves it. That, Braves got one of her favorite old players from the Red Sox.
Awesome.
So
and
if you're
okay.
Oh yeah. Also, I gotta bring it up just because we're on the topic of Braves and utility guys. Charlie Culberson back with the Rangers on a minor league deal. Charlie Clutch.
Forgot about that.
So
yeah, shout out Charlie.
Shout out to Charlie Culberson. What a guy.
What a guy.
He's one of those guys that just like, I mean, if he was back on the Dodgers, I'd be like, yeah, Charlie Clutch. But, the Rangers, have nothing against the Rangers. So let's go, Charlie.
We're going to move over from a fan favorite in Boston to probably the most, maybe not the most,
the villain.
Least likable guy, but not likable.
He's still a villain. He's still a villain.
He's still a villain. Carlos Correa to the Twins. Very interesting move here. I was kind of surprised, but at the same time, I don't know. This actually has some Braves connections as well, too. If you didn't know that. Not necessarily the signing, but what Scott Boras did in how he got this deal. So 3 years, $105.3 million to the Twins. Mm-hmm. So he has an opt out after this year, and he can sign if he chooses, and he can sign somewhere else. So it'll be interesting to see. And the reason I say the Braves were tied to this was because apparently Scott Boras offered this exact same deal to the Atlanta Braves, and they did. I don't know exactly. I guess Alex Anthopoulos just decided not to take it, or I don't know exactly what the deal was, but
I don't think Boris heard back. I think
the offer never like came, like Alex Anthopoulos never offered anything, but that was what Scott Boris said. Here's what we'll do.
I think Alex Anthopoulos just left Scott Boris on red. That's all.
He's like, I'm not answering that.
If the Braves were to get Carlos Correa, you'd probably be able to trade Ozuna like basically instantly. You could literally, trade him for, a little movie theater box of candy.
I mean, that'd be kind of a steal for us, quite honestly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we'd obviously, I don't really know what we do because defensively we're really strong. Carlos Correa is really strong defensively, so it's just like, maybe kind of rotate who you put at DH. I don't know how that would work, but also Dansby Swanson is a free agent after this year, barring an extension, and he has this. I mean, he has the same agent as Freddie Freeman. So I mean, but Freddie Freeman, he grew up in Los Angeles, that area. Dansby Swanson grew up in the Atlanta area.
If we lose Freddie Freeman and Dansby Swanson within a year of each other, there might be some riots in the street from some 13-year-old girls. There's gonna be some.
That's not just 13-year-olds. It's all ages.
It's all ages. But understandable, I guess.
Completely understandable.
Maybe Freddie, or maybe not Freddie. Maybe Dansby will have a big time breakout year. He kind of had a breakout year, but
offensively, I mean, some of his numbers were there, some of them weren't. Overall, if you look at his OPS plus, he's below average.
I wouldn't say it was worth a big time contract extension quite yet, but he improved, and hopefully he improves even more, and maybe maybe he'll become that leader in the clubhouse that with Freddie gone. Maybe he's that guy. I don't know. Like we said last episode, nobody really knows who the voice of this team is going to be. So it'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, especially a leader on the offensive side. Maybe Darno. You can't put a lot of pressure on these veterans. Marcell Ozuna's not a leader anymore.
I wouldn't want Marcell Ozuna leading the team.
I mean, maybe
no disrespect.
Arcia for some of the Latino guys. I don't know. Olsen, I guess to an extent. A lot of veterans in the bullpen and also rotation with Morton. But
I want to say Olsen, but the only issue with that is he's the new guy.
He's the new guy.
He's the new guy and he doesn't really know anybody, so it's hard to
maybe Duvall
right away and be the leader. So maybe Duvall. I could definitely see Duvall being that guy. So
who knows? But I mean, it's all up in the air right now. But maybe Michael Conforto's that guy. Come on, Alex Anthopoulos, pick up the phone.
Come on,
make it happen.
So I guess we kind of only really have two big deals left to talk about, I believe. One with the Cubs and the other. We'll start with the Cubs. Seiya Suzuki. Seiya Suzuki. If you don't know who that is, he was a big-time international prospect from Japan. He absolutely raked in Japan, and I believe 27 years old, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if that's exactly right. So mid-20s guy, and he's going to hit some bombs. And a guy that I think the Braves were looking at, kind of, not really. I don't really know. But Cubs, they're making a few big splashes with Seiya Suzuki and Marcus Stroman. So good for them.
Good for them. Indeed.
And then
who's the last
we'll
person
move on
you were
to the
about?
other guy? San Diego Padres making a move. Luke Voit is headed out west. Luke Voit was the home run leader in 2020, I think. I don't know if that's don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he was. And
it was 2020.
Kind of got forced out of New York, in my opinion. I think he's still very solid first baseman. I mean, I didn't really personally see a issue necessarily. It seems like the Yankees just gave up on him, but fills a hole. Eric Hosmer has not really been that good, and Luke Voigt, I assume he'll play first base. I think
I would assume so.
Good for the Padres getting a little bit better, trying to compete with the Dodgers. So, best first baseman in the AL West or the NL West? Question mark.
My eyes. I'm just playing.
We'll always love Freddie, even though, in 6 years we'll love Freddie.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way I can say I like a player on the Dodgers. There's just
like even Trey Turner. I like Trey Turner, but no, can't.
I liked him much better on the Nationals, even though
that's saying something considering they're our rivals too.
I mean, there are a few other. I think we talked about Kyle Schwarber last episode, even though it, pretty recently became official. There were also a few minor, just little lesser big deals. Matt Boyd went to the San Francisco Giants. And Donovan Solano, who started off really well last year for the Giants. He's with the Reds now. For the Braves, they went out and got Phil Gosselin, who might be another guy that we kind of use around the infield. Phil. Welcome back, Phil Gosselin. I believe this is his third stint with Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I think his second stint, I don't think he appeared once in the majors, but Pat Valleca, another guy I believe he's played all over. Let me see.
Exactly where he's been. I know he was with the Orioles last, right? I believe.
Yes, he was with the Orioles last 2 years. He previously 4 years with the Colorado Rockies. I'm trying to. Can you not see where he's? Okay, there we go. Never mind. I was trying to see where he's played in the field, but apparently on MLB.com they don't even show that. So he's listed as a second baseman, but I believe he can play pretty much anywhere on the infield. I'm not sure if he plays outfield at all, but
there we go.
But another guy, I mean, I see people like all over I've run a Braves page this is going to be my 2014, it's going to be a lot of years.
A lot of years. Oh, also, I don't know if we've talked about this, but congrats on 17K. I don't know if we talked about that last.
Oh, I don't know either, but thank you.
Anyways.
Thank you for 17,000 followers on Instagram. I appreciate every single one of you who's pressed that follow button and, left likes, left comments. I love reading comments. Comments are always fun. So I really appreciate it. Thank you all for 17,000. Been growing a lot recently with everything, coming together with a new CBA and Braves making a lot of moves, spring training starting. It's an exciting time.
Very exciting time.
As well as for us on the podcast. So
yeah, let's go. We're doing numbers. Let's keep it going.
Let's keep it going.
Hey, who says we have to stop here? Let's just keep it rolling.
Yeah. So from running a Braves page for so long, a lot of people, for some reason, these smaller moves really make people question their fandom. It's just like, I don't understand that. Like a depth move should never make you be like, why? Depth moves never hurt anybody. Okay. And especially when you're kind of lacking some bench guys, you need to find guys who would be able to step in case we have some injuries over a course of a 162 game season, especially with all these double headers. You're going to need to fill in guys, give people off days. You're going to need to fill in for guys when they get hurt. You're going to need these depth guys. So,
oh yeah.
Also, I got a comment today. I don't know the name, but I think it was yesterday when we signed Brock Holt. Some guy commented, who? Honestly, you could just Google it. I responded to it you just who with a question mark. I just said Brock Holt.
I mean, you weren't wrong.
I'm not wrong. I mean, it's just like, it's Brock Holt, I believe I think it was like 2015, 2016. I believe he was an all-star one year.
I think so. I don't know what year. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I believe he was an all-star one year. Let me fact check myself. All-star in 2015. He gets hit for the cycle twice. I'd forgotten he for one in 2018. And what's notable about that one is that he is the only player in Major League history to hit for the cycle in the playoffs.
Really?
You learn something new every day. How about that?
Shout out Brock Holt.
Maybe I probably knew that, but it was just like so far back in my brain that I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't ring a bell.
Eddie Rosario is gonna be the second this year.
Eddie Rosario is gonna hit for the cycle 3 times this year.
Let's go.
By the way, this episode is brought to you by SeatGeek.
SeatGeek.
Use promo code Braves News. DraftKings sponsor us. That'd be interesting.
Hey, if you're listening to this, if you're interested in sponsoring us, just shoot us a DM.
Shoot us a DM, please.
Please.
So use promo code Braves News on SeatGeek. One word, all lowercase. Use that on your first purchase of $50 or more, and you save yourself $20. That's a lot of money. Go get your spring training tickets. Go get your regular season tickets. Go ahead and buy a World Series ticket. If we make it again this year, you'll be thanking me. And you'll also get refunded if we don't make the World Series. So go ahead, buy tickets. You can also go to other sporting events, concerts, everything. It's a win-win. Go check out SeatGeek. Promo code Braves News at checkout.
Let's go.
I think Braves have also signed a couple guys to minor league deals, including don't remember his name. I gotta find it. Oh yeah, Brad Brock, Nick Vincent. I wasn't thinking about either one of them, but yes, thank you. I would have forgotten about those because they're not listed on MLB.com. Come on, MLB, play Manfred. But also RJ Alanis. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but he appeared in the major leagues last year for the Reds. I think he made his debut. I believe it was 2018 or 2019. Kind of a lesser known guy. I'd never heard of him, and I don't even know how to say his name. So I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, but he appeared in game either today or yesterday. I can't remember. But we reunited with Brad Brock as well, and then Nick Vincent, who's been on the Twins the last couple of years.
Nick Vincent, career year. It's coming. We're starting pitcher, Nick Vincent.
I also got to point out that on MLB.com, it's on what I'm looking at. It's MLB.com/hot stove. It's, tracks a bunch of all the stuff from the offseason. We get trades, free agent signings, minor league contracts and stuff. They misspelled contract in RJ's transaction log.
They misspelled contracts.
They put 2 T's in the middle. So CONTTRACT. Hey, listen. I've made typos before, but this is MLB.com.
Is Rob Manfred typing these?
This can't happen. This is John Heyman. This is John Heyman typed it. There we go. That makes sense.
That would make more sense.
Who used some kind of false identity at the airport today, and I don't know. There was if you saw that tweet,
not see that.
I don't know. I got turned off. I turned off the notifications for it, and then I turned it back on because he reported one of these deals. So I turned it back on, and now I regret that because he's talking about, he had someone else's ID when he was getting on a plane or something. So that's okay, fun. Then it's such a John Heyman thing.
That's the most John Heyman thing I've ever heard in my life.
Some other things: Danny Duffy back with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Trying to think of something or find something worth mentioning. Andrew Chafin to the Detroit Tigers, Alex Colomé to the Rockies, Travis Janikowski to the Mets, Chasen Shreve to the Mets, our old friend Chris Martin, Andrew Smiley to the Cubs, Let's talk about that for a second.
Luck to Drew Smiley and Chris Martin.
Did you see how much Drew Smiley's getting paid next year? He's getting
isn't getting like
5.25 for 1 year, and then I think up to 2.5 million more with incentives. It's just like
what do people see in Drew Smiley? I mean, no disrespect to Drew Smiley, but like he's gotten paid $16 million for the last 2 years, to do quite literally nothing.
So
I think he had that one good start when we went to that game.
He had a good stretch last year. I think a lot of people do forget about that, and I'm one of the people that actually remembers it. And it kind of gets overlooked, but, overall, he was still bad for us. But he did have a good stretch of like 5 to 10 starts. I think it was like in the 7 or 8 range, 7 or 8 starts in a row, where I think the Braves went undefeated in games that he started for like 7 or 8 games.
That boy Drew.
But that also kind of might have something to do with our offense. But I'm sorry, Drew. I'm sorry. Like, if
Drew's definitely if Drew is listening to this podcast, he's definitely never listening to it again.
Drew Smiley is the biggest talking Brave supporter out there. If you didn't know,
facts.
Okay, John Doolittle back with the Nationals. Matt Duffy to the Angels. Trying to find like maybe a couple more deals to mention. Daniel Norris, he is a cancer survivor. He's also going to the Cubs. Cubs are loading up on some veteran pitching. Michael Pineda to the Detroit Tigers. Hansel Robles back with the Boston Red Sox. Ryan Tepera, who got an MVP vote in 2020.
He did.
For the Los Angeles Angels. It's an interesting story. One of the Ryan Tepera, when he was with the Cubs that year, he got an MVP vote because one of the old baseball writers didn't know how to click, and he meant to click on Trey Turner, but he accidentally misclicked to Ryan Tepera. so that's how Ryan Tepera got an MVP vote. You could do. There's a whole. You can find out online if you really want to.
That's wild.
So if you didn't know about that, and if you learned that from me, just add that to your baseball knowledge. Corey Dickerson, 1-year deal with the St. Louis Cardinals. Delino DeShields to the Marlins. Archie Bradley to the Angels. Tyler Anderson to the Dodgers. Jonathan VR to the Cubs. And I'm going to the last page. Marwin Gonzalez to the Yankees. Billy Hamilton, GOAT, to the Mariners on a minor league deal. Braves legend. Albert Almora Jr. to the Reds. Garrett Richards to the Rangers. Joe Smith to the Twins. Robel Garcia to the Cubs. And Robert Gesellman to the Cubs. Whew, there we go.
Cubs are signed to everybody, hey?
So those are the notable
Speaking
ones.
of legends, also one more thing. Ryan Zimmerman his number is getting retired with the Nationals. So Mr. National. So, hey, it's all rivalry, but that guy deserves, Ryan Zimmerman's a great dude and he deserved to get his number retired. So congratulations to Ryan Zimmerman.
Congratulations to Ryan Zimmerman. So I don't know how long this episode has been. It's been kind of long. So we're not really going to get into depth with these spring training games because, it's spring training. It doesn't really matter. But so far, 2 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. Anyone notable in your eyes so far?
I was really impressed with William Woods yesterday. That was the one guy that stood out to me so far through the first few games. Relief pitcher. So William Woods, I believe, pitched 2 innings yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And
then Alan
2 innings,
Winans?
1 run, or 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, nothing. So,
mm-hmm.
And then obviously, if you've listened to this podcast for a while, I'm a huge Kyle Muller supporter. I want him to come on the podcast. So also Kyle Muller had a good first outing. So excited about him as well.
And then Alan Winans. This is one of the guys that I was completely unfamiliar with. I had never heard the guy in my life. 2 innings, 3 strikeouts yesterday. Got the win in relief. Pitched very well. Also in our first spring training, was it our first or was it our second? Bryce Elder. We also almost threw a no-hitter in the first game of the spring. And then we brought in Jaciel De La Cruz, who was bad in Gwinnett last year. But I mean, the first hit that he gave up was Lost in the Sun. So I don't know. Bryce Elder. So Victor Vodnik. That was it was the first game. 2 innings, no hits, no walks, no runs, 5 strikeouts from Victor Vodnik.
Victor,
and then he got sent back down to minor league camp. This was I think it was his only appearance.
They said, "Get out of here, kid."
But he struck out 5 of the 6 batters he faced. I mean, that's pretty darn good. I mean, maybe I'm not there, but I gotta say that's pretty good. As well as Darius Vines, 3 innings, no hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Bryce Elder was great in his I guess this was everybody's first game of the spring because it was our team's first game of the spring. 3 innings, no hits, no runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Very solid outings for those 3. And also, only 4 pitchers in that whole game. In the first spring training game, you normally have like 6 or 7 guys. We had 4 guys in the first spring training game. That's kind of unheard of. Really. Yeah. Which also, Cousin Drew with our first bomb of the spring. Shout out. Then we had a 4-4 tie with the Rays on Saturday. And let's see. Anyone notable from that game? Travis Demeritte with a nice 2-for-3 game. Vaughn Grissom with a nice 2-for-2 day. John Nagowski 1-for-1 with a 2-run double with a walk.
Yeah, I think Nagowski could really compete for a bench spot. So I'm interested to see what he does the rest of the spring. And
did
Freddie was good.
Did Freddie Tarnock pitch in any of these
No,
games?
he pitched today.
Was it today?
Yeah.
Yes. 1 inning, 1 unearned run, 2 strikeouts, 1 hit. Allowed.
Brian was talking about how impressive he was today.
And then he got sent to minor league camp. So, I mean, 1 outing and, I was hoping that he would carry on the Freddie legacy here in Atlanta, but no. He's also the best Freddie in baseball now, by the way.
Facts.
But also our boy Tyler Matzik today in his first outing of the spring, scoreless 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout. But
boy.
Tucker Davidson, not the best day for him, nor was it the best day for Tukey Toussaint, but that's fine. There's time. It's first spring training game for both of them. So
it's fine.
There's time. So, and then for the week ahead, tomorrow, it's Monday night when we're recording this. Tomorrow afternoon, we got the Twins on the road. We host the Rays on Wednesday in Northport. Going to Dunedin on Thursday afternoon. Friday, Saturday, we host Red Sox and Twins, both in Northport. Rays on Sunday. And then, you know what? That's it. That's all I'm going to say. Opening day, April 7th, against the Cincinnati Reds at home. Go get your tickets. That's a Thursday night. Maybe you just want to go that weekend, but there's going to be a lot of stuff going on that weekend. We got the 2021 World Series banner is going to be going up. World Series ring replica giveaway. We're going to have the ring ceremony without Freddie Freeman. That's going to suck.
That's going to be the most brutal part because he's going to get his ring on June 24th when he comes back. So
he's going to get booed for it.
Gonna be like, boo.
So people are, I put out a poll on Braves News 101. Like, are people going to boo or cheer for Freddie Freeman.
I think
and it was,
I'll cheer for him when he gets his ring. After that, it's all booze.
I mean, first at bat, I'm considering maybe cheering, but same time, he just went to LA. Like, it's just, but I mean, anything after that, I'm going to let it loose.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the final tally on if people are going to cheer or boo. Let's see. So 70% of people said they were going to cheer. I mean, it's obviously a lot can change between now and then, but 725 people said that they are going to cheer. 304 said they're going to boo. Interesting.
I haven't made my decision yet. It'll be a game time decision.
I think it's, I mean, obviously, not all of us are going to be able to go that day.
That's we still have a good 3-4 months to sit on that. So you
got to keep in mind, he turned down the biggest contract offer in Braves franchise history.
Yep.
Should have gone by Chipper Jones's example, taking less money to stay with the franchise with the fan base that's always treated you well and has always loved you, always been there for you. And then you go and sign with our biggest non-division rival.
Yeah.
It's honestly, if you cheer, that, I mean, I respect, I understand it, but if you, I mean, I'm kind of 50-50. I can see both sides.
I understand both sides.
I'm not going to look at either side like they're in the wrong here, because everyone has their reasons. But I'm not going. Don't get me wrong. Everything I've said bad about Freddie Freeman going to the Dodgers, it's not
they're still part of us. Down there. It's
that doesn't love Freddie Freeman. That doesn't discount from what he did for this organization.
Yeah, but him as a person and him as a Braves player is never going to go away. I mean, that's just a fact.
Mm-hmm.
As much as it pains us.
But this decision, it hurts as a Braves fan, and it should hurt as a Braves fan. So, and it hurts as for other baseball fans. No one wants to see these guys go. He was such a likable guy going to a very hated team. It's no one wants to see the Dodgers go out and get anyone else. So, anyways, I think we covered basically everything. It was
everything.
I really never know how long we've been recording, but hopefully this wasn't too long, and hopefully we got to everything, and hopefully it was entertaining for you all. So, unless you have something else.
No, I think we covered pretty much everything.
We got everything. Sweet. So, we started the episode on Welcome to Atlanta. Might as well end the episode on Welcome to Atlanta, right? Because, gotcha. Welcome to Atlanta, Kenley.
Welcome to Atlanta.
Brock,
welcome to the home of the World Series champions.
Mm-hmm. Let's get back to back. So welcome to Atlanta. Welcome back to Atlanta, Eddie, and welcome back, Brad, Brock. Just welcome to Atlanta, everyone who's come to Atlanta. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So before we sign off, just want to make sure that we remind you to go check us out. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Email us. Check out SeatGeek. Merch coming soon.
Merch.
I know I've been saying that a lot.
I've been saying that for a few weeks now, but it truly is coming soon.
We did run into an issue, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to fix it. I don't know how I'm going to fix it. I'm kind of at a standstill right now. But if anyone out there has a cool design for us that we could use on a shirt, that'd be awesome. We'd love that. So if someone out there, if that sounds interesting to you, we'll definitely give you a shout out. If someone wants to do that for us, definitely reach out to us, and let us know. That would be awesome. We'd really appreciate that. So
let's do it.
Did I mention all of our socials? I feel like I always miss one.
I think
everything's in the description.
TikTok, Twitter,
email, YouTube.
Email. Yeah, we got it.
I mean, in case you really want to see us stream MLB The Show again, go check out the Twitch channels too.
Yeah, go check out the Twitch as well. Hey, I probably will be back on there when 22 drops. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to 22.
I think it's actually
a couple weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, I think. I don't know the exact. I think it's like April 5th or something. So
looking forward to that. So if that interests you, if you want to go check us out on Twitch, we haven't really streamed much since that first stream, but if it interests you, we'll probably post on Twitter and Instagram when we're gonna stream. But you know, maybe we may not. But yeah, we had a good time last time. We were streaming on Twitch, so had a few people join us in the comments section on Twitch, and a few listeners from the podcast. So, and if you were there, we appreciate you. Either way, if you're still listening to us, we appreciate you as well. If you've made it this far in the episode, shout out to you.
Shout out.
Anyways, until next time, my name is David Waters.
And I'm Luke Hardin.
Thank you all for listening, and we will catch you all in the next episode. See y'all later.
Peace, guys.